Tuesday, October 24th, and the Dome Foamers podcast is back. I am your host, Christian Kruger, and as always, I'm with Neil Mieski and Brian Dorton. We are just lifelong Astros fans that love to talk about the Astros. So, boys, let's go. All right, episode 26. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
How'd we do?
We're going to get into it. But first, I want to share about our title sponsor, Two Gringos Chupacabra. They have offered a fan favorites pack of 5 season rubs and season all. And we are going to do some stuff on social media where you're going to share our link to our podcast on Facebook and tag 3 friends, and you will enter a giveaway that Two Gringos Chupacabra will mail this out to you for you to have. So we'll have more on that tomorrow as we put this up on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and all of our other socials. But I think we're going to do it on Facebook today. Is that right, Neil?
Yes, sir.
All
and
right.
That's five. Those are the steak seasoning, Cluckalicious original blend, brisket magic, and chop house seasons.
Yes, I've tried all 5.
Yes, please.
Yes, they're incredible. I'm on YouTube showing it right now. So if you're not watching on YouTube tomorrow, you'll be able to. I'm just letting you know. I put it up there. Cool thing for them to do. Also, they have decided to give us a code for our listeners and our viewers to go to 2gringoschupacabra.com. That is the number 2 gringoschupacabra.com. And you put in the code DOME15, that is DOME15, and you'll get 15% off for your holiday shopping and stocking stuffers.
Ooh.
DOME15. Yes, that's a pretty cool deal. They've been great to us. We are continuing our partnership. We're going to do some other things on social media with them. So we appreciate them at 2gringoschupacabra.com.
I didn't even think about the partnership. Sorry, the stocking stuffer aspect of this. Yeah, I'm in.
So for all my friends and family that we do stocking stuffers for, including my kids, you'll all be getting 2 Gringos Chupacabra in your stocking this year.
Gonna be
Just
awesome.
FYI, no surprises. So, all right, boys. I'm gonna start off for a second, and then I'm gonna kick it over to Neil like always. But I am going to hat tip the Rangers. I'm gonna be as classy as I can, and I'm not very good at doing that when it comes to the Rangers. But I have been hammered by on social media, which I totally fully expected. Friends on text message. I've messaged almost all of them back. And yes, Rangers, you deserve the hat tip. You are going to the World Series, as much as it pains me to say it. You won. You earned it. Hat tip. Just for the record, you still did Ranger because the Astros won the division. The Astros just decided to return the favor by not winning a home game in the ALCS. How's that sound, guys?
We out-rangered the Rangers.
Is that pretty good for me?
That's amazing. I don't know what's the matter with you.
That's about as good of a compliment as they're going to get. That's it.
Agreed. So, all right. We're going to recap it. We're going to recap the mess. We're going to recap the end of the season, put a bow on it. And then, we're probably going to do another podcast talking about moving on to 2014 with some changes and things that need to happen.
Onward and upward.
But before we do that, I'm going to kick it to Neil because I know he's just like dying to discuss losing in the ALCS Game 7. So, Neil, the floor is yours.
So, obviously, frustrating. And it's almost par for what we tolerated this season as Astro fans. I mean, clearly this was not a smooth season. And I saw something today that said that we dropped 16 of our last 19 games at home. Like, let that soak in for a second.
I think it's worse than that.
It's
to tell you
actually
the
worse
truth.
than that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's worse than that.
Insane. And the game last night, we didn't have a chance. Javier just came in and it wasn't his night. It wasn't playoff Javier. It was middle of the season Javier. And then obviously the JP France fiasco, that it just absolutely infuriated me that JP France got more opportunities against the Rangers batters than Javier did. And I didn't disagree with pulling Javier when we did. I surely disagreed at the timing of waiting to pull France when we did. But without getting into the game itself, we didn't do what it took to deserve to win. And again, a small microcosm of our season, to where we had ups and downs. We had injuries where guys were gone, and every team has injuries. Our best players had injuries, which led to us. I mean, guys, remember, a couple days before the season ended, we weren't sure whether we were going to make the playoffs. Yeah. And so we make it to Game 7 of the ALCS, and so in some ways, we may have overachieved, but as far as Astro fans and our expectations and our spoiled rotten ways, we did underachieve, and one game away from back-to-back or back-to-back World Series would have been nice. That would have been nice to get that opportunity. We didn't, so we've got some things to obviously improve on, and we need to. Right, we need to, because the Rangers, clearly, they're not going away. Their $2 billion payroll is not going anywhere, and I think that they'll be better. If DeGrom actually is healthy, and those guys are actually in some spots fairly young, so they're not going away anytime soon. It's hopefully we're able to maintain ourselves and have a good rivalry for the next at least year or two.
All right. I got some things I want to say there, but I'm going to let Brian first, because there's a couple things that I might disagree with. But we'll get into it. So, Dorton,
this will be short and sweet. I think Game 7 was a perfect example of, or a perfect a zoomed in version of what this entire season was.
Would it be a microcosm?
A microcosm of this season. And it was infuriating to watch. It was infuriating to see. But, like, the fact that anybody was surprised out of with the outcome or any of the moves that were made last night, like, you obviously have not watched any games previous to this. You've not watched the 170 games previous to this, and because to be surprised just from last night, like, zero surprise. All the disappointment still there, every single bit of it. And Neil, to tack on to France, to Frenchie, I like, for the first time, I literally felt sorry for somebody out there. I was like, I feel though somebody had, like, Dusty has a personal vendetta against him, like, personally, and this is why he's leaving him out on the mound. It was one of those kind of, like, there was no other reason not to pull him.
Brutal.
And other than just to humiliate him, his rookie season, or his first season in the major leagues. So whatever, onwards and upwards.
Man, where to go? So I I guess my way where I'm going to say is I know where both you guys are coming from because we have so many extended conversations to have for a long time. I fully expected to win that series. Um, we were the betting favorites the whole time. Vegas doesn't get a lot of things wrong. Now, baseball can be a coin flip. Yeah, I mean, we know that, right? But like, you don't win one game at home. We win the series. I never thought me and Dorton, went to Game 6 in 2019. I never thought I would ever see a series with 7 games. I would ever see that again. I never thought I would see where the home team loses all 7 games. Never in a million years. I thought that was an anomaly. I thought I would never see it again. And it's now happened twice in 4 years, the only 2 times I might add, and I believe any sport, and it's happened to the Astros both times.
Ever.
So, I mean, I totally feel like we should be in the World Series, and we're not. Was our season as good as it has been lately? No. Are we spoiled like Neil usually brings up? Yes. I mean,
Yes.
that can't be argued. But at the same time, if you want me, I mean, if I'm trying to take my Astros visor and my Astros fandom off, I still think on paper this is a better team than the Rangers. I think the Rangers are good, and I think they've improved a lot, and they are. Neil said it; they're going to be around. They've got some young players. I think injuries and pitching is going to be an issue for them, but they have committed, but they are willing to go out and spend money. But this podcast ain't about the freaking Rangers, okay? So on paper, we are the better team. You know why? And I'll take on any Rangers fan that wants to continue to social media and find me and argue with me, because this almost exact team won the World Series last year. The Rangers have not yet. They haven't. They might. And that's another discussion for another day. But with the exception of Gurriel, you have Abreu, and we have a few pitching injuries. This is the same team that won the World Series last year. And yes, it's underperformed. Majority of the players have underperformed. So that's the frustrating part a day later about that. And honestly, if we went out and we lost 5-4, and it would have been gut-wrenching and excruciating, I'm telling you, this is how I operate. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I would have felt better. The fact that we were freaking non-competitive was a crock
wasn't even a game.
Was a crock of edit, Dorton, because that's what I want to say. Completely non-competitive in 6 and 7.
6 and 7
pisses me off.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even a game. Like,
and
neither
JP
one
France,
of those
JP France should have never been out there.
No chance.
Should have never been out there. And so let's dive into that real quick. So I had multiple people, hey, how you feel about the game? How you feel about the game? Text me. I said, you know what? I don't feel so. I mean, I think I told you guys I don't feel great. But I said, I'm not worried about Javier. Wrong. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, I didn't think we would see a bad Javier. I was fully expecting bad Framber.
Yes, I was too. And on the podcast we did last week, I told Neil, I mean, he knows this, on the podcast you listening, I fully expected Game 7. Because I felt like the matchup, leaned to them, and I felt like the matchup leaned to us, Game 7. So I was surprised by Javier. And honestly, it's not so much Javier. I mean, it is. But the Rangers, God, I hate freaking talking about the Rangers. They made some, like, they did a hell of a job getting on top of his fastball, because in Game 3, they didn't. So I don't know how they figured that out that quick, playing in Game 6, but they got on top of the fastball. So I was surprised by that. Now, let's talk about it. Matan comes in. Okay. That's not who I would have brought in, but I don't hate it.
No.
Why do you take him? Why do you take him out?
He did his job. He walked in there and did his job.
Why doesn't he pitch the second?
Should have.
Right.
He can. He's gone several games, multiple innings.
You burned 2. I'm trying to get for the viewers. You burned 2 pitchers in the first inning.
Right.
Makes no sense to me. Okay, so then you bring in Brown, which I knew at that point Brown's coming at some point. Okay,
he had to show up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't know which
gave,
way he was going to go, Brown or Urquidy. So that was.
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting there because. Okay, do we want to go through the whole? We want to go through the pitchers first and how I would have done it and how we would. Okay,
sure.
Brown, I knew he was going to pitch at some point. He gave up a run, right? Wasn't perfect, wasn't terrible. Why did we take him out?
Don't know.
Why?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. He hasn't pitched. He's a starter. He can probably give you 3 or 4 if he's not getting blown up. Why did he take him out?
He was not getting blown up.
No, he gave him 1 run. Okay.
Comparatively, he was not getting blown up.
Well, he was still keeping us in it.
I mean, yeah, and he gave up a home run, but I mean, so does Verlander every start. You know, I mean,
yes. Well,
and
here's
solo home runs.
Your hat tip.
Solo home runs were not going to beat you yesterday.
Here's to your hat tip to the Rangers. Like those, they're going to hit a ball out of the park.
Yes,
like it's happening. Someone's going to do it.
Okay, so let's keep going here. So this is where I'm really going to lose my, you know what? Because I'm already mad. Why took Matan out? Why take Brown out? I cannot figure out why. So you decide to take Brown out. Fine. I would have done it. I'd let him ride out a little more, but why is JP France the next pitcher? Why? I want someone to tell me why. Why is that the next pitcher when you have Jose Urquidy sitting there ready to pitch?
Yep.
Why?
I want to know why.
It was this exact moment. I think I texted something along the lines of this is where Dusty had his epiphany that next weekend he's got a vacation planned, and it's pretty important, and those tickets are non-refundable, and that's why.
It
because
really
there's no other logical reason.
I'm gonna dig until I get an answer.
Tell me another logical reason other than he's got some non-refundable tickets to a pretty awesome vacation, because there isn't another logical reason for that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, keeping Jose Urquidy's, the expectation of Jose Urquidy being hurt off and on all year, coming back at the end of the year. How do you two, at a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where would you rate Jose Urquidy's performance before last night in the postseason on a scale of 1 to 10?
8, 9, 8.
I'd say 6 to 7.
No. Meeting Urquidy's,
I'm a 7.5 or an 8.
Like meeting, like as coming in,
yes.
we know what Urquidy can do, right? Like we know what he's capable of. And then what he actually did, 8 to 9.
I'm a 7. I'm a 7.5 or an 8. I am, which is pretty damn good for my expectations of Urquidy. And he puts in JP France in, and then leaves him in. What? Who signed off on that deal? Is Josh Miller just sitting there like, hey, this is a great idea?
Who says let's let JP France
in game 7
face 8 batters?
Yeah,
8 batters.
But you've got a guy that has pitched in the playoffs multiple times in the World Series, and his performance has been pretty damn good. And you're going to pitch JP France before him?
Idiotic.
I can't figure it out. I want to know why.
Yeah.
And then and then listen, Javier needed to come out. Okay, he did.
Yep.
Short leash Matan, short leash Brown. long leash JP France. That makes sense.
Bingo.
That makes a ton of sense.
Bingo.
Oh, but now it's 8-2. Hey, you're Urquidy.
Correct.
Can you get lathered up and get warm now, please?
Yeah. But that's also, remember, Urquidy didn't come in until after Neris closed up France's mess. Abreu comes in, gives up 2 more. And now it's 10-2, and Urquidy's pitching in what feels like a totally meaningless spot.
Yes.
And so, like, the timing of I'm picking JP France before Jose Urquidy was an absolute towel throw.
Why?
I mean, let
me ask you this. Let me ask you
total
this.
head scratcher.
Why is JP France on the ALCS roster? Much less in a game. I mean, you wave the towel game 6 with Montero and Stanek. I mean, why didn't you pitch France then? It's absolute baseball sabotage. And this Dusty, I'm so glad he's our manager. Go fly a freaking kite. Go fly a kite. It is baseball sabotage. I'm keeping this clean because we got sponsors and we got maybe kids watching. I don't want to say what I really want to say. Baseball sabotage.
It is. It really is.
And don't forget that had Dusty not been ejected, there may not have been a game 7.
No, 100%. The best thing that could have happened was Dusty being ejected.
Because now Espada got to pull the trigger.
Correct.
Makes the right moves. Guys step up and make plays because they're in a spot to make plays. They're in an ideal spot for their talents to make a play, and they make them. Holy cow, what a crazy idea.
Correct. And then we'll go ahead and compound that in game 6, and we see Dusty sees what worked yesterday, and if it worked yesterday, it's definitely going to work today, right? So let's do the same thing, and let's leave the 2 guys that can actually get hits and have proven hits on the bench, and let's bring up Singleton again because he got a walk yesterday, and so
Diaz got a hit off Leclerc in game 5.
Right.
He started the rally.
Right.
Yes.
The same pitcher.
He was on the bench. He left on the bench again. Correct. It makes no sense.
Move on.
I don't
move on. Move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, where do you want me to go? Like, where do you want to go? Like,
yeah, I mean,
real quick. I know it's hindsight's 2020, but this is stuff we've talked about. Like, I don't think, like, I would have went Javier, Urquidy.
Yes,
that's what I would have done.
Yes,
because
and I mean, like,
he's got a fresh arm. You might can get 3 or 4 out of him.
If you go Maton, okay, that's fine. Like, keep Maton. He was doing fine. Keep him in there. Keep him in there for for another inning. That's fine.
Didn't he strike out both? Didn't he strike out both?
Yes.
Yes. So here's what I really thought was going down. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know. I thought Urquidy, maybe Brown, and so really what I thought that Maton can probably get loose faster than Urquidy, and so they brought because I wasn't listening to.
No, let me tell you why I'm gonna tell you why it's not fair. But go ahead. I mean, Neil's right. I mean, he does get faster, but I'll tell you in a minute.
And also, Maton can come in, mid inning and clean up messes. He's used to that.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
So I just assumed it was going to be Urquidy, maybe Brown, and I always picked Urquidy because again, he started a playoff game for us. He started in one game 4 in Minnesota for us.
Did well. Did really well.
Yeah.
Did really well.
You burned 2 pitchers in the first inning.
Yeah, but I'm just the order that they used and the mind. I mean, surely they sat there and had a plan somewhere along the way of who's coming in after.
No way. No way.
Well,
I don't. I mean, and if they did, and JP France is part of that plan, we have
Terrible
way
plan.
bigger. We have way bigger problems.
Terrible plan. Terrible. Yes. So
Okay, what I was
when
saying. Oh, go ahead, Neil. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say when people say all the time like Dusty didn't pitch, Dusty didn't bat. No, he doesn't. I mean, Javier was not because of Dusty. Keeping
Right.
that game close is on Dusty.
100%.
Putting guys in who are the better performers at the right moments. That's his job. That's what managing is. You manage your players to put them in spots to perform at their best. He did not do that all year long, in my opinion.
When you have people in the stands commenting about how, wow, look, like the other team is putting in new runners and putting in new batters, we should do that. Like when people who are obviously haven't been to many games are talking about why does the other team get to do that? Why can't we do that? And the answer is, oh, we can. Our senile old man just doesn't want to, for whatever reason.
Go ahead, Neil. Go ahead, because
I was going to say,
I'm about to go off.
Y'all know Jordan Montgomery got the win.
That's where I'm going. Hold on. This is where I'm going.
Okay,
Can I go?
Ahead. Yes. Yeah.
Because it's going to tie into something else. Okay. What game did your kitty pitch in?
What game? 4, right? 4?
Game 4.
Game
Correct.
4, Minnesota.
You answered no. No. In this series, what game did he pitch in?
Oh,
game 4 here.
He came in.
No, game 4. Correct?
Yes.
When was the last time Montgomery pitched in the series?
Game 4?
No.
No, 3. No, game 5. 5. Yeah.
It
would have been game 5
yeah.
because he wasn't on full rest. Yeah, you're right.
Notice when Scherzer got in trouble, who was their next pitcher?
Whoop, whoop.
Who was their next pitcher?
In the third.
Monty. Yeah.
Man, I almost slipped one because the crap was hitting the fan in their eyes. Right?
Jordan's going to edit this. The was hitting the fan.
And who does he come in the face? Lefties.
They freaking bring in – they had a plan in place. Montgomery was their second pitcher who pitched in game 5, and your key's not ours in game 4. Now, listen, I'm okay with Matan coming in, but I would have left him in the second inning. In the first second he gets trouble, you have your Kitty up and ready to rock. I cannot stand this. Oh, he needs to come in a clean inning.
Why?
No, you pitch your best available pitchers. And we chose J.P. France.
And then leave him
over your
in.
Kitty. Exactly.
And then leave him in. That's the part that I cannot.
I wouldn't have pulled Matan yet. I wouldn't have pulled Brown yet. But we just going to let JP freaking sabotage. It's freaking sabotage. I cannot. You cannot sell me. You cannot sell me. Josh Miller signed off on this. You cannot.
It is.
He's smarter than that. This is Dusty or the front office.
Yep, because they brought
him
in the face because that was right after Jordan tripled. Jordan triples, and then Abreu grounded out. They bring in Montgomery to get Brantley out, and then he stays in to face Kyle Tucker, which were the two that he was really in there for, obviously. And then, just like killed the rally, right? I mean, there was trouble. Bregman had homered against them, or Scherzer, and so Jordan's on third base. Whoop! Time's up.
Yep.
Time's up. We're not playing.
And
around.
here's where I was leading this into, because that's Neil brought it up, and that's exactly where I want to go. But here's the difference in a plan. And I know we can't go through everything, but that was an absolute mess. So these are the numbers that I saw today, and I then confirmed today because I was like, please, I got to make sure this is right. In elimination games in the playoffs, Bruce Bochy is 13-5 in elimination games. Dusty Baker in elimination games in the playoffs is 2-9. Let me tell you something.
Some guys got it.
You can't tell me that is like, oh, that's big. 13-5 with your back against the wall and 2-9. Dude, someone can manage a bullpen. Someone can manage a pitching staff. Someone has the feel and the hunch and when to make moves, and somebody ain't got it because they're freaking need to be put out to the pasture.
Yes.
That is staggering.
I'm not sure if this is the right time to say it, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm not going to celebrate this until it is a done deal. But the tweets and whatever of this is Dusty's last year, I'm not going to celebrate a thing. And to people who feel as though that's going to be a great loss, you live in a separate universe.
Yeah.
Period.
Not real. Yeah.
It is hey, the delusional. I would love to live in your delusional life because it probably is awesome.
There's several moves, but the number one move to improve this team is to find a better manager. I will feel worse of them saying that he's coming back to manage than I did last night, because that last night was one game to where I felt terrible.
Agree.
If he comes back, I know there are 162 maybe plus games that I'm going to just have to live through.
Yep.
Well, I don't
agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I'm glad Dorton brought it up, and I'm the same way. Like, until there's an announcement with Jim Crane standing there riding him off in the sunset, and look, we don't have the time. That's going to be the next episode, because I got some front office questions and some issues there too.
Yep.
But until Jim Crane's up there saying that he's retired, meaning Dusty Baker, I ain't celebrating it either. And look, I'll get into this part of the manager. If that does happen, there's some things we need to know, which I don't know if I like or not. Jim Crane's never hired within the organization, never. So I like Espada, and I think Espada would do things differently. I really do believe that. I think he's been groomed. That doesn't mean he's been groomed for the Astros.
Right.
And I don't know that Crane would hire within the organization. And I'm not saying he's my number one choice. My number one choice is the biggest boss move of all time, to stick a middle finger to everyone. And Crane doesn't have the cojones to do it. But it would be the biggest boss savage move ever, and we would go 180-0 next year if he brought back AJ Hinch.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Man.
There's precedence. The freaking Red Sox brought back Core after they banned him for a year. But Crane is too much of a edit. I'm editing myself.
Yeah, don't. Hinch back in the Astros would be incredible. Absolutely incredible.
We would run rule every team next year, every game, if that happened.
Oh my gosh.
If healthy, of course.
Obviously, not going to happen.
No, it's not.
And again, I'm not sure Hinch would even entertain that either. Because
get out of Detroit.
Yeah, if you get fired though, probably not going to go back to the place I got fired by.
Fair, that's fair. Except, Detroit's roster and the Astros roster.
Oh, sure. Sure. Well, I don't know that.
It'll never happen. So I'm just saying, it would be the biggest savage move ever.
It would be huge.
So it would scratch him off the list.
I'll tell you what,
go ahead.
A new manager, regardless of who that manager is, here's the good news. Any manager, literally any manager would go ahead and clear up this whole catcher, and I'm doing quotes, catcher debate. And the debate is around the debate.
Yeah. I don't want to. That was my fault. I took it too long on that because I'm not celebrating that, like Jordan said, until Jim Cramer announces it.
Yes.
All right. So where do we want to go next?
I have one. Speaking of our catcher. Speaking of our catcher. I sit here and talk all kinds of mess about Maldi. Now, I do think he is a terrible catcher. I think he is even worse at the plate. I think he is a black hole in our lineup, and he does nothing to help the team other than he's a great clubhouse guy. I think if we are going to be expanding or changing up managers and coaching staff, let's bring Maldi in as a coach. Let's bring him in.
Well, I don't know if he's done. I don't know if he's done wanting to play or not. I mean, Verlander's going to be his. Yeah. I'm just saying. I mean, no, he's free agent, and Verlander's going to be his biggest proponent.
You bet.
I don't hate him just catching Verlander next year, but it better be for a bag of pork rinds. I'm not spending any money on it. Okay.
So now, I think he would be a terrific coach. I think he would be a terrific dugout guy.
I think he would be. I think he would be
bench
terrific.
Coach? Are you kidding me?
I think he would be terrific sitting in the front office watching games from up there. That's where I think he'd be terrific at.
Well,
so I don't have to deal with him on the field. But I've resigned myself to saying I don't care if he catches Verlander's every start next year. I don't. That's on Verlander. You know what? Fine. Now we have to sign him, and I don't want to give him. And he's not gonna be.
I mean,
he won't be offered anything high. But I'm just like,
to watch the stolen bases that happened yesterday and how. I mean,
just go ahead. Y'all just go ahead.
I mean, I could have stolen one of those bags. I could have done that. Yeah. Now I run a 4.8 40.
You do,
but
you still have it.
Still have it.
4.820.
Ish.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, that's they're going to make a decision, and we will address that when the time comes. I want to see if Dusty is officially gone and who the new manager is. Verlander is going to be in that person's ear and Jim Crane's ear to re-sign him. And again, I don't care if they do as long as we pay him nothing and he only catches Verlander. But there better be a damn understanding that Diaz is catching 120 plus games next year.
I mean, my God.
That just needs to be done.
His one at bat, game 6, he grounded out, and that ground out was exit velocity of 107.
No one barrels balls. Only Jordan barrels more balls on this team. Than Yanier. Did y'all see?
Imagine that? Can you imagine? You're at shortstop and you get 107 mile per hour freaking bomb hit straight to you. I mean,
Jordan, if he was the full-time catcher this year, and started 120 games or more, he would have hit 40 plus home runs.
I agree.
And here's
40 plus
as a rookie.
And here's why and we know this, but here's why that's so important though, because then we're not scraping with 2 games left in the season to get into the playoffs. We could be resting some guys. We could be resting a Kyle Tucker who was invisible.
We haven't even talked. We haven't even touched on Tucker. We haven't touched on Pena. We haven't touched on.
And I just think that the stress and strain between the injuries and the managing of these guys was a key factor for our pitching staff and the season that we endured. And we could go we could have a whole episode of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know how bad Maldi is at the plate? Do you know who's one notch above him? You know who's one notch above him?
Pena.
Jeremy freaking Pena. I cannot stand him rolling over and grounding out and strike. Oh, he's horrible. He was useless.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that was a sophomore slump or if that's who he is as an Astro curse. You know, the shortstop curse.
Here's my issue with that. That's fair. Here's my issue with that, though. Name me the date, and we've put it out there. If you remember, you saw it. Name me the date the last time he hit a ball over the fence.
July 5th.
It was summer. It was in the summer.
I thought it was July 3rd, but July 5th and July 3rd are basically the same. So, yes.
It could be. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's one of those two. Yeah.
That was before I went to Ireland.
Oh, my God. He hit 10 home runs before that. And not another one since.
Yeah. You know, I saw something too also that said Pena and Tucker, their RBIs together were less than Maldi's in the playoffs. Maldi had more RBIs in the playoffs than Tucker and Pena combined. Yeah, and again, is Pena and Tucker is Pena and Tucker's performance because of Dusty Baker?
No, absolutely not.
You mean specifically?
You mean the guy who led the league in RBIs?
Right.
Yeah.
But could it also have been somewhere in tear? You know, and we were the first ones saying, why are some of these guys needing a break in key series and things like that? Well, it's because of our record. And so it's like one of those things of the mismanagement in the catcher position led to so many things in my mind, like so many situations, and not just the catcher position, but just some of the decisions day in and day out. Obviously, Abreu's performance at first base early on the season was atrocious. Also led to this. Alvarez being out, Altuve being out. I mean, the Brantley being out. There's so many things that led to a 90-win season, scraping by to win the division, and here we are. Again, in the past, we have coasted to the end. We were able to manage ourselves. Yes, we had a week off before playing the Twins. Kind of get yourself right. I agree. So in my mind, there's just a million factors that led up to a Game 7 debacle.
Yeah.
World Baseball Classic is another one. 2022 World Series, another one.
Agreed. And I sent this to you too. I'm going to go ahead. I'm sorry, Neil. I thought you were done.
No, I was going to say and people might, the haters may come in and say those are excuses. Those are legitimate reasons. I mean, the World Baseball Classic is a legitimate reason. Altuve got hurt.
Yep.
The 2022 World Series.
We had three pitchers. Garcia hurt.
Sure.
Urquidy hurt. Javier dead arm. All three pitched in the WBC.
And so those are, in my mind, factors that built into this deal. And again, it is, going back to Dusty, it is his job. I mean, he's a manager. They don't call him the head coach. They call him the manager. He manages this team. And his job managing this team was not up to par. It was not World Series worthy. And people, of course, say, well, he did it last year. I think we all are in agreement here, anyways, that we won in spite of his managing.
Anybody could have managed that team last year and won the World Series.
I'm going to give
Anybody.
credit on social media. I sent you guys this, but this really reiterates what you said, Neil. So Astro Stats on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Astro_numbers. So for those, I'm giving credit where credit's due. I stole this from them, and so I'm going to give them credit. Top 3 hitters at Minute Maid Park in 2023. Yainer Diaz, 164. I'm assuming it's either WRC plus or OPS plus, which are basically the same number. Yordan Alvarez, 144. Chas McCormick, 144. 2 of those players did not start Game 6 at Minute Maid Park, and one of them did not play in Game 7 at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah.
And how many runs did we score in 2 games at Minute Maid Park? 6. That right there, those are numbers that every front office, every coach, everyone has. Yainer Diaz was 20 points, 20% higher at Minute Maid Park in 2023 than your daddy Alvarez, and Chas McCormick was the same. Now, Yordan's a nightmare on the road. I mean, his numbers on the road are insanity. Like, they're crazy. However, at Minute Maid Park, those were the 3 top hitters at Minute Maid Park in 2023 for the Astros. How does a manager and a front office? I'm saying I'm throwing the front office under the bus too. How do you not look at these numbers and be like, boys, we stole one in Game 5. Thank you, Altuve. We love you. We need some offense because we're facing Nate Eovaldi. Might want to put in all 3 of your best hitters in Minute Maid Ballpark in Game 6. I don't know. Might.
And so, again, the casual fan goes, well, Yainer only 1 hit this postseason.
Yeah, exactly.
But he played in like 4 games in the last month. So again, putting him in a spot to come in and go pick up the slack, prove yourself here. I mean, I just don't think that's fair. I don't think it was fair to put John Singleton in some of the spots he was.
I agree with you.
I thought that was one of the most questioned moves that I've had out of a ton of really weird decisions that have happened this year. That was up there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what my number 1 is right now? And Dorton, you're right. I couldn't believe it. But you know what's even bigger than that one is the very next night, Game 7, and you're down, I think, 6 runs and 2 runners on, and you hit Maldi in the 4th inning. When the biggest thing ever is, Verlander and Fromber, who pitched so well, and Javier want to throw to Maldonado. Well, guess what? They're all gone, and we're down 6 runs. Let's let Maldi hit? What? What are you doing? We need offense. There's runners on. Diaz could hit one 7 miles, and it's 8-5.
Yep.
8-5.
And there's also one catcher on our team that has a much better shot of throwing out runners.
I don't even care. You're right.
There was one catcher on this team statistically that has a better pop time. Sorry.
With 1 out, with 1 out, down 8-2 with 2 runners on in the 4th or 5th inning, whatever. I think it was the 4th. How do you let Maldi come up to bat? How?
So dumb.
It's so dumb.
I mean,
Diaz could have struck.
You know what's coming.
Diaz could have struck out on 3 pitches. You know what I would have said? That sucks. That's what Maldi could have done. Oh, but now he's going to get 3 more bats in this game.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to hit 2 of those 3 107 miles an hour off the bat. At least
then
one of those three are going to find its way into the outfield.
Why did we pinch hit for him later in the game? Why did Yonir come in for Maldonado later in the game?
Because we were getting run ruled, and Dusty wanted to go to the press conference and say that he played him.
Yeah, because he knew he was going to get
Right.
asked
So-
exactly that. Why didn't you put in your
So if
better
you were
hitters,
willing to-
guy?
When you were willing to do it in the 7th or
Neil.
6th inning,
Exactly.
why not do it early? Why not?
Let me ask
do
you
it,
this.
why not do it from the beginning? Obviously, but yeah.
Let me ask you this.
What if he? What if? Hold on, Jordan. What if he? What if he doesn't hit 107 miles? What if he hits a laser through the out of town scoreboard and kills the people back there and that are doing the scoreboard, and he only gets a ground rule double? So then it's 8-3, and now we have runners on second and third, one out. You see the possibilities, because he can hit one through the scoreboard and kill somebody. Okay,
that's
sorry.
true.
I'm starting to lose it.
Here's my question. When and I want you to think back to recent games, game 6, game 5, when it comes down to it, and we are still in this game, and we can win this game, and Maldonado comes to the plate, what happens? And it's late in the game. Who goes in?
Yeah.
And it's almost always, this is where Diaz comes in.
Right.
Let me tell you how this works. If your go-to when it's on the line is to put in Diaz, it's because he's the better player, and you should be starting him from the get-go. Period.
Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly right.
All right, I'm with you. You're right, dead on. I mean, we all have our own ways of explaining this, which I love. I'm gonna say one thing, and then we need to move on to another topic. But Dorton, Neil, we all went there. Last night was terrible, right? Our best player was awesome. Jordan was awesome. Okay, 3 for 3, got potentially walked, whatever.
Incredible.
Yep, love him. We all do. Needs to play. I would like to see him play 140 games in a year.
Yeah.
He might hit 90 home runs, but I would like to see him play 140 games. But
and bat third.
That'd be good.
Bat second, but bat third.
Second.
Okay, fine. Who you remember those WRC plus OPS plus numbers that are throughout there?
Oh yeah.
Who got on base 4 times last night on the Astros? Ding ding!
Was it Chaz?
Yeah.
He didn't play in game 6. Like, what are we doing? Oh,
I know.
And with Chaz, it's not pretty. He's streaky. I get it. We know that. But I mean, the dude freaking finds a way to get on base, and that's the most important. That and slug are the two most important things.
How do you think his thigh, the back of his leg looks right now?
He got smoked.
104.
Don't get me going on these hit by pitch stuff again.
Yeah, me either.
I can't.
Me either.
No, we're not. I know that's. Listen, you go down that rabbit hole, and like my blood pressure goes up, and things go sideways.
I didn't see anybody get ejected. I didn't see any batter confront a catcher, because apparently that's all you got to do.
No. It's all
So
all fine.
I mean, if you want somebody ejected, oh mercy.
My bad. He was on 3 times in a stolen base. My bad. I want to clarify that. 3 times in a stolen base. Okay.
Here's the only thing that I'm gonna say about this whole Garcia BS, and I'm saying BS, to Arizona, who is looking like they're gonna be the World Series right now, bottom of the 9th, up 2. But you know how that goes.
With hold on, with Seattle's closer, I'm sure pitching that they gave to him because they freaking sold out.
Wah wah. Screw you.
Yeah, had to put that in.
If there's one thing that if there's one piece of advice that I would give Arizona, don't pitch to that guy. Why are you going to pitch to that guy when you don't have to pitch to that guy?
They try not to pitch Jordan.
There's no reason. Hey,
okay.
Listen.
Okay.
When first base is open and there's a runner on second and third and Garcia is up and it's 1 out, this time we'll get him. This is the time we'll get him? No.
Okay, I'm gonna say one thing, and I'm not gonna try because I want to move on, but I'm gonna say this because I got this, I got people coming after me left and right, which I totally understand and accept. But I don't remember who I was trying to find it, but I've got so much in my social media, Twitter, everything. A Rangers fan came back to me with the celebrations of Garcia, saying he's a kid from Cuba. Let him celebrate. And I said,
no one has a problem with this.
Hold on,
hold
on. Come on. He's 30, and the 26-year-old from Cuba on the Astros hits his home runs and runs around the bases like Jordan does. Okay,
like a man.
Exactly, like a man. Exactly.
Right.
So I think it's funny. They think it's okay that he's from Cuba and he's a kid, but he's 30, and the 4-year younger player on the Astros from Cuba hits it 9 miles and is the most feared hitter in baseball and runs the bases like he's been there before. Okay, I'm done. All right, I'm done.
How many times did the Rangers walk Jordan?
One first inning last night.
Intentionally. I think 2 to 3, right?
3.
Yeah.
3. How many times did we intentionally walk Garcia?
0, but I don't.
Let me go ahead and just 0. We pitched. We are definitely going to strike him out every time.
No, I wouldn't have walked him 3 times intentionally. I would have hit him in his ribs 5 times intentionally. That's what I would have done.
I've been fine.
I'm sorry. Yeah, exactly.
But don't pitch to the guy. My goodness, you know what's going to happen.
Agreed. Okay. All right, man. We're getting some stuff off our chest tonight. All right.
Yeah, that felt pretty therapeutic, actually.
Yeah. Let's move on to Neil's segment, Throwback Player of the Week, which is one of my favorites. It'll give me a little time to cool down, probably till we bring it back up afterwards. But the Throwback Player of the Week is sponsored by our friends at Victoria Equipment Auction. And at Victoria Equipment Auction, their number one goal is to get you the best price for your equipment in a hassle-free, professional manner. Whether you are part of a large corporation looking to clear old equipment out of your inventory, or an individual interested in selling a single piece, Victoria Equipment Auction is ready to go to work for you. Just drop off your equipment, and they will take care of the rest. There's some good people there. Call Clay at 361-935-2444. Their next equipment auction is December 2nd. And I mean RVs, 4-wheelers, anything and everything. Those guys there will take care of you. So thank you to them for sponsoring the Throwback Player of the Week. Neil, fire away.
So one of the guys that looks like could have worn his Astro uniform for the last time was Michael Brantley last night. Obviously, big fan of Michael. Obviously, didn't finish off the season the way that we wanted as far as his health this last year, but solid A+.
He came out.
Yeah, solid A+ person, leader, and as far as the pickup that we got when we got him a couple of years ago, I thought, proud that he was an Astro, which got me into that mindset of left fielders behind him or in the future, and some of the guys that had been there before him. So, which led me to a guy that maybe most famously was involved in the Steve Bartman affair.
Oh.
which would be
Moises
Alou. Yeah.
Yep.
Moises.
So Moises Rojas Alou Beltre officially was born July 3rd, 1966. Second overall pick in the MLB draft by the Pittsburgh Pirates. In 1990, he was traded to the Montreal Expos, where he eventually played under his dad,
Felipe.
Felipe Alou. Yes, Felipe Alou. And so played with the Expos, eventually was signed by the Florida Marlins in 1997 as a free agent, where they obviously won a World Series, and he was immediately shipped out along with many others that year as the fire sale began. And he came to the Houston Astros. He was actually traded to the Houston Astros for three guys who I think I've heard of one, Mark Johnson, who was a pitcher. These were all lower level guys, prospects at the time, but Manuel Barrios, Oscar Henriquez, and Mark Johnson. And so it looks like we got the better end of that deal. Yeah. And so his first season with the Astros, he hit a career high 38 home runs and drove in 124 while leading the Astros to, at that time, 102 win season. The following year ends up hurting himself, which was a common theme throughout his entire career. The guy just could not stay healthy. It was really a shame. But he actually got tore his ACL on a treadmill in the offseason, so he misses all of 99, comes back.
He fell off the treadmill.
Yeah. And so ends up hitting 355 in 2000 and then 331 in 01 while driving at least 108 runs or more in each of those seasons. So when he was playing, when he was on the team, unbelievable. He had the power. He had the average. The dude was a real deal.
No batting gloves.
Which I didn't want to go down that line.
Uh-oh.
I'm not going to go down the path of why he said or the rumors of what he did.
Him and Jorge Posada.
Instead of wearing batting gloves, I'll keep that out of this episode. But you feel free to look it up on that.
Google that.
So he ends up leaving us, goes to the Chicago Cubs where the Bartman incident happened, of course. Battled injuries there, goes to San Francisco for a couple of years, battles injuries, and then finally wrapped things up with the New York Mets. So as far as Moises Alou's stats overall as an Astro, this was the part that you go, holy cow. I'm about to wow you. His average in 3 years with the Houston Astros was 331. His on-base average was 403. His slugging was, his on base was 403. His slugging was 585. So his OPS was .988.
That's unreal.
Which is wild. Yeah. His OPS plus with the Astros, 133. So this guy was, I'm sorry, his 148.
As an
OPS
Astro?
plus was, yes, just as an Astro.
Dang, that's elite. I mean, that's elite.
Yes. So unbelievable, right? I mean, the guy was
I remember though. He was a freaking machine.
Unbelievable. And again, he just could not stay healthy. I mean, that was obviously his downfall. I mean, his career WAR was 39.9, 332 homers, batting average of 303, slugging was 516, OPS 885, and OPS plus career
hits.
Career hits 2,134.
Wow. You said what was career home runs?
332.
Wow. And a career 300 hitter? What's his career OPS? What's his career OPS plus?
128.
Wow, he's got to be a marginal. How many years did he play? He's not going to sniff it, is he?
He already got taken off the ballot. He played 17 years. He got less than 1% of the vote when it came time.
Oh, wow.
That's shocking.
You were talking
Like
you were talking about Hall
I'm
of
not.
Fame, I guess.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but that's shocking that he only got that. I mean, I get it,
Yeah.
injuries,
Multiple
and
All-Star.
look, I believe the Hall of Fame should be the Hall of Fame and not the Hall of Great. Okay, so
Right.
are very good. So I mean, but that's shocking that I'm not saying he should have made it, but it's shocking that he got taken off that quick.
It feels like he was
Yes.
with the Astros for more than 3 seasons.
I
for some
agree with
reason.
that. I agree with that.
I feel like he
I
was
agree.
there for all of those down years. He was just a part of that.
No, yeah, he was.
But he wasn't.
He
We
was just
won. We
for
won
three,
100
just for-
games.
Oh,
yeah,
no, yeah.
he was
98 through 01, yeah.
yes, 98 through 01, which also means he was a part of playing at Minute Maid.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just think about some of those things, right? And he was an all-star for us in 2 of the 3 years. He was third in the MVP voting in 98, Silver Slugger Award in 98. So, I mean, he was an all-star.
And just because, dude, you know how it's been with the ALCS and everything. Did he leave as a free agent, or did we trade him?
So he left free agency.
We didn't want to re-sign him, just I guess injuries. But that dude, we were cheap though too.
So yeah, after the 01 season, we hit a little, So he was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone. But
that's a good one. That's a really good one.
He was a guy that, again, and Brantley mimics some of those memories of Moises Alou for me.
Did y'all see Brantley's post game interview last night?
No. What did he say?
Freaking incredible. It was incredible.
Class.
I mean, everything that Garcia isn't. And I'm not just picking on Garcia, but I am picking on Garcia. But and it's not even just about Garcia. Like, just y'all got to find it on Twitter, man. I'll try to find it because I commented on it and I'll send it to y'all. Incredible. I mean, it was only 3 minutes. It was incredible. I mean, they're not going to sign him for $12 million. And I don't know how healthy he truly is, or if he even wants to. Right. I don't know. I mean, the guy has got, like, if he wants, I mean, I'm sure he's got family and kids. I mean, he said that, but hitting coach, hello. And that guy's got hitting coach written all over him, and probably big league manager if he wants to do it. I just don't know if he wants to do it, but his interview last night was incredible.
He's a stud.
Moises Alou, though, that's a good one. He was a machine. He batted. What did he bat? He batted after Bagwell, right?
I think he was in that 4 hole.
That's a good one.
That would make sense. Yeah. He was a good one. That again,
number 18
similarities.
Yeah, good one. So, looks like it's going to be Arizona D-Bags v. the Yankees of Texas for the World Series.
About 2,000 people are going to watch the World Series this year.
Yep.
And they're all going to be in Phoenix area or northern or southern Oklahoma.
Yep.
It's going to get awful ratings, which it doesn't matter. If I was a fan of one of those teams, I don't care.
Yeah,
but
no one cares about that.
MLB is going to get crushed on ratings.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, MLB wanted the Astros to be in it because it was going to be just a hate. There would have been enough hate views to make it worth it for them. You bet.
They love having a villain.
One of my new favorite
hate view is fine.
One of my new favorite players in Major League Baseball is Corbin Carroll. He's just scrappy, just talented, power, speed, defense, all that. I know this is going to shock both of y'all. Go Diamondbacks.
Yes. Yeah. I am not from the culture of it's a Texas team, you go for them.
No, go D-Bags.
And we all three have, my Houston Rocket mid-90s love affair and y'all's San Antonio whatever Spurs love affair.
I'm not sure I ever loved the Spurs. I loved Jordan. I just like the Spurs because you liked the Rockets.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely true. I was never, I was never a big basketball guy.
Right. No, but we don't necessarily just root for Texas.
No,
I'm not.
I'm not either. I'm rooting for the fighting Corbin Carrolls.
I saw him earlier get picked off, and so he made it to second safe. He's pretty fast.
All right, I feel better. I do feel better after this. I want to wrap it up because we're a little bit over an hour. We're going to do some other things coming up. We're going to do probably put a bow on this, put some have closure. It doesn't make us feel any better, but we do need to put in perspective that it's been 7 straight ALCSs.
Yes.
I mean, this is the goal. This is the golden years. There are no moral victories, but it does help you put things in perspective. That where this franchise has been through tons of change and turmoil, both good, bad, and indifferent. And at the end of the day, how mad we get, and because we're fans and we can, at the end of the day, these are the best the Astros have ever been. And I don't think there's going to be another team in the NL or AL that's ever going to do that again. I will say this: I fully expect them to be back for an 8th, because it's going to be basically the same team. One thing that I know I've talked to, or I've kind of thought about is, and we'll get into this the next episode, is there, with all the experience and all the playoff studs, it's clear to me that there needs to be an injection of energy to combine with that experience. And I don't know who and where that's going to be with payroll constraints. I'm going to throw a name out there that we've done on the prospect of the week, which we'll get back into when the season clicks on spring training. But here's a name to watch. And just, I don't think he's going to make the team coming out of spring training unless he just goes off. But I'm fully expecting maybe a June, July call-up because he can play left field. He can play multiple spots. But Joey Luperfido, he's hitting every level he's been in. He is power, speed, can play a number of positions. And again, don't expect him to make the team. But I watch for a June call-up to interject something, maybe play some left field, play some center field, play some wherever they need him. Just table that and hoping he stays healthy, over the holidays. But he's a lot like the Evan Carter that the team up north has. That guy was an absolute injection of energy and speed and just what they needed at a weaker spot that they have in left field. And that's exactly the Astros need Yordan to play as little left field as possible. And they need to have an athlete to be an injection of speed, a little swagger, and a little bit of just energy. And
I like it.
And yeah, just throw that out there. We appreciate everyone listening. The giveaway we're going to do, we're going to put this on Facebook, and share our link and tag 3 people in it, and we will give away the fan favorites pack that will be mailed directly to you. We're doing this weekly. Special thanks again to our friends at 2 Green Road Chupacabra, and get on their website and go to 2 Green Road Chupacabra and use Dome15 for 15% off. And boys, with all that being said, this has been fun. We're going to continue doing this. We're not going away. We're going to transition into. We will do another Astros, on look to 2024, no doubt, because there's some things that definitely need to be discussed, and we're going to do some college football, and we're going to get into stuff like that, and look forward to it. We're all fans of that great game. So, boys, with all that being said. Go D-backs, and go Stros.
Go Stros.
Go Stros.